Hey guys, what's up? Phoenix here, and I'm back again in EFT with something a little bit different today. So a few days ago I posted a video going over my stash and the way I had it set up, and encouraged you guys to kind of share yours both in the comments and on the Discord as well. Anyway, I got a few comments on that, one by I believe Daniel and another one by Patrick. I think they were the two dudes who posted. If they aren't, I'm sorry if I missed you. But anyway, they posted and they had some relatively good advice on how to save on stash space. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the past hour and a half. And oh boy, yeah, it works. So jumping in and actually looking at the stash, this is kind of how it's been organized. So still very similar to how it was in that video, but you'll notice I'm missing majority of the weapons. And there's now a fuck ton of space just going all the way up to the top to kind of serve as new storage or trader storage or anything that I kind of want to. There are a few weapons here that I haven't altered and have kind of left outside of the cases because fuck it. But I have crammed a ton of shit into these 5 cases, into these 4 in particular, rather. So you can do this without the weapons cases if you are a lower level, but they definitely do help. Either way, you still save on space. Anyway, this video is kind of targeted towards standard edition players, and even anyone with EOD who's just kind of full, like mine was. And boy oh boy does it work. So it kind of, what I've done takes advantage of the dynamic inventory and dynamic sizing system that was implemented a few updates ago, and it takes some serious advantage of that. So if you look on screen now, there should be a screenshot popping up that I took earlier when I was playing around with it. So as you can see there, I have 6 AKSs inside the weapons case, 2 sitting outside. So that's basically how the AKS comes when it's stock. So when you buy the AKS, it comes in a 4x2 variant. You fold the stock in, it takes up 3x2. So without making any alterations to the actual weapons themselves, even though these ones have some foregrips and sights on them, that doesn't affect the dynamic sizing. It is just the stock folding in that I've really changed. And there you go. So 2x3, you can fit 6 of them into a weapons case. Without making any alterations to the gun, just folding the stock in and of itself. However, you can cram a lot more into the weapons case than just 6 AKSs. In fact, you can cram 8 AKSs into the weapons case with room to spare. So I managed to put all of the AKSs that I had inside the weapons case, in addition to 6 pistol grips, so that leaves 2 kind of up shit creek, and what are we looking at, 5 mags, plus the 2 silencers that I had. So, overall, this isn't everything you need to run the AKS, but the pistol grips are easy enough to buy that if you run out of them in the weapons case, I can always just replenish them without much issue. I can also fit an extra 2 AKSs inside the case, bringing me up to a total of 10. A bit of a step up from the 6 that we could fit in before. Plus, I've managed to fit in a decent chunk of 60-round mags, and like I said, the 2 silencers to boot with room to spare. So, this is kind of taking advantage of how that dynamic spawning or dynamic sizing system works, rather. And we'll kind of show it off here. So this is just a general AKS, unfolded with the mag in, and the pistol grip attached. Takes up 4x2, like I said. However, folded in, again, 2x3, like I said before. Take the mag out, nothing changes. However, take the grip off as well, and you're now left with a 3x1 or 4x1 unfolded weapon. So, you can cram this inside, and even cramming this inside, that's now taken us up to a total of 6 mags. So I could have all the mags I need in here, plus the pistol grips as well if I didn't have the silencers. But it all comes down to personal preference and how you want to work it. But you can definitely make some serious use of that. And that works for pretty much everything in the game. If you take both the mag and the pistol grip off, it shortens it down to a 1 across size-wise. So rather than taking up 2 by whatever, it'll take up 1 by whatever. And I did this with basically everything. So again, referring to the screen, looking at it now is the MP5s and MPXs. So these are 2 different sized weapons, but they're very similar, so I thought I'd include them in the same weapons case. I can fit in a grand total of 5 MP5s and 2 MPXs without much room to spare. So I can fit everything I had in there, but just barely. But with a little bit of finagling jumping in here, oh boy, did I fit this? Did I fit all of them in with a fair bit of room to spare? In fact, I could chuck a whole other rifle in there without any issue. Now, the MP5s are slightly different to everything else in the game, and they work similarly to the SKS, which I've got over here. So rather than having to take off both the pistol grip and the magazine on the MP5, all you have to take off is the mag, because if you take off the pistol grip, in fact, you can't take off the pistol grip, so that kind of explains it. But being that you can't take it off, all we need to take off is the mag, and that brings it down to a 3x1 rather than 3x2, and the MPX works the same as everything else, so taking off both the pistol grip and the mag leave you with a 4x1 weapon, which makes it so much easier to store shit in weapon cases. And I've seen a few different setups. People have had weapons in one case, mags and attachments in another, and you've been able to cram so much more in there than what I've been able to, but this works for me relatively well. And another example of that is the VSSs. So again, looking at the screen now, the VSS and the AS-VAL, you can really only fit the 5 in there with no room to spare, but looking at it now, you can fit everything in there with the mags and the stocks and the pistol grip with enough room to cram in a few more as well. So again, just another example of cramming so much in there. And I think probably the best example of it is with the M4s. So going back to that kind of before screenshot now, I had 3 M4s outside of the case plus the 5 inside, but I've managed to cram all of those M4s inside now with all the mags and all the pistol grips, or at least a decent chunk of them inside as well, without any issue. So obviously again, it will require a bit of finagling around. If you do want to grab a gun out, you're going to have to kind of reassemble it, but that's not too much of an issue, especially if you've got standard and size is a rarity and space is a rarity. So hope that kind of covers things. So like I said, remember to take off the pistol grip and the magazines from all of your weapons, and you'll be able to save massively on space, with the exception of the MP5 and the SKS, which all you need to take off is just the magazine. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed, hope you found it useful. If you did, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, doubtful points or things like that, chuck them in the comments below. Like I said, big thank you to Daniel and Patrick for providing me with the information I needed to be able to do this. Anyway guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.